Okay, we're going to check out these new pitch notes. FIFA 20 gameplay follow-up, a deep dive into how the gameplay team is listening to recent feedback. Again, guys, before we get started with this, this is all entirely um it's entirely words only. Okay? One thing to say something, another thing to produce and do with action, right? So let's read this. Hey, FIFA fans, as a follow up to our latest Pitch Notes article, we wanted to give you some more insight into a few of the main topics that the community has raised as a response to what's been published. We've heard that you've loved the transparency and early looks, but raised questions surrounding the time finishing, goalkeeper movement, and chain skill moves. Good. Um, we invited the gameplay devs to share their perspectives into some of these points to add further context. You'll be able to see their responses below. Timed finishing. Time finishing was introduced in FIFA to create more depth in the shooting mechanics while increasing the skill gap to differentiate the good players from the best players, and the philosophy remains unchanged. This is bullshit because this is not skilled. Pressing a button again before you shoot to perfect it more is not a skill. I don't know where they got that part from. I don't agree with that whatsoever. I do need to say that I wholeheartedly disagree with that on a whole other level. Because the simplest thing should be finishing. Okay? You shouldn't add these green time finishes and stuff, right? It should be the simplest thing. To create consistency, it's because when you have time finishing, it depends. Because the way that it worked this year is because time finishing was a thing, the finishing was completely broken. Now, in this game, if you do not have to use green time finishing, which you might have to again because it's EA, right? That's an annoying thing to have to deal with. A simple 1v1 shot, I shouldn't have to green time finish for it to be consistent. Time finishing, however, in different areas of the pitch is okay. For instance, when you do a long shot, if you do a long shot and you do time finishing, because they still have this shit in the game too, then, like I said, like I hate these two mechanics with the deepest passion. I really do. I hate them so much. But there's a way of making them work in a game. There is. But I don't trust EA to do that. You know what I'm saying? But we'll see what they say. Um, but this I do not agree with whatsoever. Our data shows that players who spend time practicing the time finishing mechanic are getting significantly better shooting results than players who did not invest the time to master it. And this is already a step in the right direction in terms of skill. No. It also tells us that even the best players are unable to execute green time shots on every time shot attempt because you can't practice it because your game is inconsistent. Composure in football is very important when shooting, and time finishing in FIFA represents that concept. Instead of just relying on muscle memory, we are encouraging you to analyze the game in a split second, decide whether to use this mechanic or not, and then compose yourself to execute it properly. Finishing should be the simplest thing. The hardest thing is breaking down a defense. That's it. That's where the skill lies. The skill only lies in breaking down someone's defense. That's what they do not understand. Time finishing puts extra control in your hands, and it gives you, as a user, the ability to increase the speed, add curve, and slightly reduce the error percentage when performing a shot. The goal for time finishing is not to overcome poor shooting decisions or difficult shooting contexts. In fact, a situation in which you should shoot matters more than ever when deciding whether you time your shot or not. And if you decide to time it and get it green, you'll be rewarded, but not to an unrealistic extent. Like I said, words and action. I need to see how the game is in game, right? Shots in difficult contexts, for example, a first time 135-degree shot moving backwards from outside the box should have low chances to be scored, even if you time it green. Another aspect is that aim/power still matters, so overpowering a shot can be compensated by green timing it. In addition to fundamental changes to the shooting system that we are doing this year, we're also making some changes to the time finishing mechanic itself to ensure a more balanced shooting experience, in that the mechanic continues to be just a modifier influencer to the outcome of your shot. A few points we'd like to call out. Time finishing puts an extra layer of control in your hands, and our early community feedback has confirmed that it makes shooting more satisfying when timing green. As always, we'll continue to take feedback from players and adjust as necessary. Taking away or removing shooting control from the player would be a step backwards on game depth. The green timed window, having green time finishing for this game is what fucked up your finishing because it just meant inconsistency everywhere. So it depends. I can't judge it yet. I cannot judge it yet. I need to see how your game is next year for me to judge it. I can't judge it. I can't. The option to turn the feature off will still be there. We will continue listening to player feedback regarding time finishing, but first we want to ensure we get the changes into our players' hands and get a wider scale of feedback. Manual goalkeeper movement. In order to provide a more authentic experience, the team has modified the manual goalkeeper movement to simulate the anticipation type of movement seen in real-world goalkeepers. Often, goalkeepers try to anticipate shots and are readjusting their position based on their understanding prediction of where the shot will go. In FIFA 20, the manual goalkeeper movement will be much slower, only allowing you to move 1 or 2 steps in the requested direction, instead of a full reach across the goal. I actually kind of like that. From words. Because there's kind of a balance there, where if you take a good shot, you still probably scored in that direction. If there's some sort of variable with like time finishing in that situation. They don't fully commit to the side now, so if you hit the side really nicely, you still might score. Interesting. In the improved manual goalkeeper movement should emphasize the risk/reward aspect of the mechanic. Anticipate it wrong and you will have more chance to concede a goal. If dribbling is good, if defensive AI doesn't warp to your players quickly, defensive AI, not manual defending, right? And if your accuracy in shots is good. In addition to these changes, we're also making sure that the goalkeeper manual controlling will be aligned with that of the shooter controls, meaning that if controlling the goalkeeper, your manual inputs will lock once the shooter's shot direction has locked. In addition to the chair, I'm also making sure that the goalkeeper manual controlling will be aligned with that of the shooter controls, meaning that if controlling the goalkeeper, your manual inputs will lock once the shooter's shot direction has locked. Okay, I need to see how that works in the game. The feature will feel much different from FIFA 19, so we are excited for players to try it and provide further feedback. Chain skill moves. After the article at the end of May, we heard many comments in association with the chain skill moves update. One of the reasons that we shared these details so early is to take in your feedback and apply it to development. The team is working through the details of this mechanic right now, like what skill moves will be affected and how attributes will impact the mechanic, etc. Ultimately, we want to provide an authentic experience for both the attacker and the defender without taking away any options from the player's hands. Chain skills are not authentic to football, and we are working to bring this mechanic closer to real life. More info to come later as the team continues to investigate how to best accomplish this. There are other pitch notes. They said the maximum amount of chain skill moves you can do is going to be 2, and then the error in the skill move will increase after 2 if you keep doing it. So that's what their thing was. To be honest with you, I don't think I've ever changed more than 2 skill moves ever since the body feints back in FIFA 15, and even still, I think I did like 3 maximum. Right, I did like 1, 2, 3 just to get that near post shot. Right, so I don't necessarily mind that too much. I never chain skill moves like more than 3 times. Like I've just never done it. Because to be able to do the skill moves, you're probably gonna have to dribble and do the skill moves again. Dribble, do the skill moves again. Not like the 1 time, but the 2 time. When you get back into the transition of the dribble, you can probably do it again. But it only takes that 1 touch. If by words, that's what they're explaining properly. If by words, that's what they're explaining properly. The pitch notes, upcoming deep dives, gameplay, career mode, pro clubs. These 2 are very huge. FIFA 20 Ultimate Team and Volta Football in August. Okay. So hopefully today's article has given some context to some of your top concerns and what we've addressed thus far. Not knowing how we're addressing some of our gameplay concerns heading into FIFA 20, we also wanted to acknowledge those asking for some information on changes and innovations coming to the other elements of FIFA 20. One clear piece of feedback we received is to have more clarity around when you can expect to get more info on your favorite mode and new features. Below is an early look into blah blah blah. So there's gameplay, career mode, pro clubs. These dates, bro, my eyes, chat, just separated the da and the tiz. I was like, the da tiz? Holy shit, I'm tired. These dates are subject to change. Please refer to our channel, EA Sports FIFA, for any updates, blah, blah, blah. Corey, Zaro, and the gameplay dev team. Yep, like I said, it's one thing with words. It's, check Dan FIFA Namic's Twitter Did you guys send it to me? Oh, wait, what's his name? FIFA Nimix? FIFA Nimix? Nimix? Oh, FIFA Nomics. Um. Oh, hello. There's way more. Holy shit. Rip Volta, 15. Okay. Authentic game flow. Authentic game flow gives AI-controlled players an increased understanding of time, space, and position on the pitch, placing more emphasis on user-controlled play. Play through dynamic one-on-ones, enhance AI defending, and natural player motion. Dynamic one-on-ones built using the game tempo from the world's best leagues. An overhauled game flow offers more true-to-life spacing and pace of play, resulting in more one-on-one opportunities, putting emphasis on user-controlled decisive moments. AI defending and overhauling the positioning and tackling system creates an environment for AI to better complement the user-controlled player. AI will offer intelligent defensive support while rewarding an advantage and advantaging user defending. Natural player motion with locomotion and positioning innovations. AI players move in more natural and composed fashion than ever before. We're creating, okay. Um, Decisive moments give you more control over the moment. Strafe dribbling. Oh, so decisive moment gives you more control over the moments that determine the outcome of a match. From composed finishing in the final third to control tackling at the back, along with new strafe dribbling and strafe dribbling, and a set piece refresh. You'll have increased input in the key stages of each game. Strafe dribbling, the new strafe dribble mechanic adds more dimension to attacking options, enabling you to move with more agility than to lure your opponent in before beating them with skill. Controlled tackling, using the active touch system, user controlled defending is advantaged and rewarded through a variety of new tackle animations. The clearer the tackle, the higher the likelihood of retained possession of the ball. Set piece refresh. A system refresh gives deeper options for aiming direct free kicks and penalties, introducing more skill-based mechanics for ball striking and that are more rewarding than ever. Composed finishing. An overhaul in the fundamentals of shooting will give you more consistent and clinical finishing, creating a more true-to-life shooting experience that better rewards authentic finishing and offers risk and reward in more difficult situations like volleyed crosses. The new ball physics system elevates gameplay to 20. FIFA football inform motion and overhaul motion system introduces more authentic ball spins, blah blah blah. New shot trajectories with the new ball motion system. A variety of realistic shot trajectories are unlocked. Okay. 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 Actions is one thing, words are another, man. We're gonna see.